I also was Raphael in Ninja Turtles. Teenage Ninja Turtles.
Oh, the teenage ones?
Not the elderly ones. I played teenage. So that's me.
I'm Darren Dunstan, and I play Pegasus on Yugioh, and Splinter on Ninja Turtles.
I'm Dan Green, and I played Yugi and Atem, and I also played Trudge in 5Ds, who originally started in the classic series as my child character. I remember well. And I did some work on Ninja Turtles too, so...
More too. That's right. I'm Mike Pollock. I played Arthur Hawkins in the original. Perhaps you missed those episodes. Also in the series that dare not speak its name in GX, I was Bonaparte. And in other stuff, I'm Dr. Eggman in Sonic the Hedgehog, and I shared some Turtles episodes with Dan.
Hi, I'm Erica Schroeder. I was my Valentine after Megan Hollingshead, and at GX I think I was Mana, and then in 5Ds I played Akiza, and also Raleigh Dawson, and a dual runner computer, and a couple of other little characters here and there.
Hello, I'm Ted Lewis, and in the original series I was Bakura and Bandit Keith, and in GX I was Chumley, and in 5Ds Jack Atlas.
Watch out.
Watch out. You can all leave now, you guys.
How do? I'm Wayne Grayson. I did the voice of Joey on Yu-Gi-Oh! As well as Shoddy. And in GX I was Cyrus. I care about that as much as you do. I popped up in 5Ds and in Zexel as well. And I was Michelangelo in Ninja Turtles with the fabulous Greg Guy.
I was the ultimate ninja in Ninja Turtles, I forgot that one.
Too late. Too late. You had to know.
Mike, you were the garbage man.
Yes, I was the garbage man in Ninja Turtles. Who was the Arthur Hawkins of the Turtle series?
Every
series.
You were Kirby, were you not? You were Kirby.
I was Kirby in Ninja
Based on
Turtles.
Jack Kirby, the King.
Yes, yes. So,
Credit where credit's due.
thank
It's
you.
true, it's true.
Sure, if you want. Yeah, sure.
Thank you. Good night.
And that's all.
Thanks all for coming.
Oh. Yes, we can.
Let's do it. So she's saying we have to do our signature line.
Oh.
Tristan's pretty easy, because this is pretty much all I said for 700 episodes. Just give me a second, I have to prepare. Go Yugi! Let's see, you say, from two come one, and from one come great cosmic might. I synchro summon Stardust Dragon! Thank you.
Mine's a lot shorter.
Your turn, Yugioh.
Grandpa said we could always believe in the heart of the cards.
That's right. It's time to duel! You can drink a lot of that.
Hello, I'm Professor Arthur Hawkins.
I'm gonna be king of the pirates!
Yes!
Because you heard that one a lot.
I'll do my Bakura first. I'm going to send Arthur Hawkins to the graveyard! And for Jack Atlas, of course, I'm Jack Atlas, the master of faster!
Master faster.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
This isn't a line I think I would call my signature line, but I just like saying it. I gotta do it for my sister. Serenity. Go you! Alright?
That's good. It's good. It sounds just like that guy.
I do, don't I?
It's worked real hard. It's good. It's really good.
Sure.
All right, I'd like to kick off the Q&A with a question to every single one of you. How did you get into voice acting?
Should we all answer that at once?
Sure.
I went to Shakespeare beforehand. I wound up getting thing Eric Stewart
I've only been in the city for about 2 days.
I didn't quite get any of that.
Let's see, actually, Dan and I have known each other since we were 18, and we studied acting together at Rutgers University. And we had a very close friend of ours.
We still do.
He's still with us. His name was Tony, and he was he got into directing some anime, and so both Dan and I started doing a little bit of that. And then I just remember one day, which now is probably like 10, 12 years ago, he said, there's this company, 4 kids, and they're auditioning this show, Yugioh, and you guys should go down and do it. So that was my first introduction, and I ended up getting Tristan, and that sort of got me in the door of 4 kids. And then once you're in the door at 4 kids, you sort of got an opportunity to audition for all their shows. And so that's, I mean, any of the cartoons I've done have been there, so that's where I got Turtles and obviously 5Ds, and you sort of had a chance to work on everything that they were doing. So that's sort of how I got in the door with this stuff. Darren.
Right. My first gig out of college was on the national tour of Pokemon Live, which was a live stage show that traveled the eastern seaboard.
You three.
And then the same producers, obviously, were producing this new show, Yu-Gi-Oh, and I auditioned and was lucky enough to be cast in that, and then started directing for 4 kids and been there 11 years.
Wow.
Yes, you know, Darren directs, you directed 5Ds, as well as now you're directing Zexel, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, so like Greg said, it was largely through our friend Tony Salerno, who was working at Central Park Media that did a lot of dubbing stuff. And a lot of that work was going through Taj Studios, which was at the time doing Pokemon. So I actually had done some stuff on Pokemon, including the 3rd movie where I got to play a nice character, Entei. And then, yes, go ahead.
Come up, Dan.
And that was probably the first role where Entei is this kind of majestic creature and lion-like creature. And that was probably the first role where I started using that sort of commanding voice, which obviously became a large part of what was used in Yu-Gi-Oh. But yeah, so it was just being lucky enough to know somebody and not doing a terrible job and getting more work because of that.
I loved radio as a kid because that's how old I am. Little Orphan Annie would be on, and no, it's not that old.
I have a picture of that.
Yes, and loved listening to the wacky characters on the radio and some DJs that did wacky voices, and also watching cartoons as a kid and realizing, hey, voices are fun to do. So when I grew up and got a career in radio, such as it was, I realized what I really loved was not playing a record and handing by at 7:20, 7, but doing the wacky voices in the commercials. And said, well, listen, that's a lot more fun because you don't get bored because you're always doing a new character. So eventually, when I had enough of a demo tape together, there was an ad in what used to be the print edition of Backstage magazine for what turned out to be Pokemon. I sent in a demo cassette because that's how old it was, and got booked on an episode of Pokemon as the grandfather. Don't bother, you missed the episode, it's not worth it. And that was my entree into 4 Kids, and then when 4 Kids TV happened, I got spots on Kirby Right Back At Ya as the mayor and Samo the bartender. I was the voice of the promos for 4 Kids for the Fox Box for the first couple of years. Then came Ultimate Muscle, and Ninja Turtles, and Sonic X, and Yu-Gi-Oh! And Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, and Viva Pinata, and some other shows that I
love Viva. That was fun.
It was,
I love the commercial.
Yeah, Darren, how many did you fucking do? Did you direct that?
yes.
I don't know what you're talking
I got it! Thank you. No one would hear. And eventually I kept getting stuff, and that was very cool.
I, like Mike, was also a huge fan of cartoons, especially 80s cartoons, and I used to do lots of impersonations. But I went to school at NYU for acting, and I had a concentration in musical theater, and also did a concentration in
Does that mean you were thinking really hard?
Shakespeare. Yeah, exactly.
Shit to match the panels.
And I got a call actually for the huge hit Ultraman Tiga.
Oh my god. You were on that.
That's how I started with I can never remember if it's Rena or Reina, which is terrible because it started out as one, and then we had to redub like 8 episodes and change my name. But I had a pretty good time with that. And then
Was
just
that
sort
like one of those voicemail auditions for that?
No, I had to actually
You
go
went
in.
in?
Yeah. And then I think I actually
Yeah.
auditioned for Dan Green.
That's right.
But yeah, then I got involved with a bunch of other shows there and been having a nice time working there for many, many years.
How did I get started in voiceovers?
Is this long?
Perseverance.
I mean, that's a perfect.
I had actually never thought too much about doing voiceovers. I was doing some theater in the city, and I worked at the for a number of years. I worked at a record store on the Upper West Side, and I bumped into a guy, and we got to talking about. This was the era of laser discs. Many years.
You're older than Mike Buckley. My
And,
wife recorded with.
He's flying a
And there was
space
some,
jet.
there was some anime, and he pointed out and said, I direct some of these, and it just so happened that I had another friend who worked in anime, and I auditioned for, he got me in for my first audition. It was for a project called Record of Lodoss War.
Oh.
And I auditioned for a character named Eito, and I got a job on my first try, which was kind of interesting. Never happened since. But that was the first job that I got, and that led to some other stuff. It led to meeting
Now and then.
eventually. Yes, now and then here and there, which was that our friend Tony directed, which was a wonderful project. And I eventually met the guy who would produce Pokemon, and that got me kind of into the whole 4Kids thing. And then everything kind of snowballed from there. So.
See, the great thing about being last is I can just take snippets of everyone's story. I went to NYU, actually, was a TA in Erica's stage combat class for a while, and was there for Shakespeare, graduated, and then after that there was no money to be had, so I went to Backstage, which was a print edition thing. Then they said, you mail in your picture and your resume and give us $100 and we'll put your face and your resume in front of the faces of all these casting directors. And I did, and I out and out lied and said I did voiceovers, which I had not done, but they thought I did because it said I did accents and dialects on my resume. I wasn't going to say no. I think I was casting an anime. I don't even know what it's called. I forgot. It's so long ago. And getting that job got me into this circle because, and it's still the same now, a lot of studios kind of share their talent. And the one guy I worked for knew somebody at CPM, and then it may have been Tony. Tony may be the nexus here.
Yes.
Yeah,
But someone gave my name to Eric Stewart. Eric called me in for Yugioh, and the rest is history. Okay, next question.
All right, the next question is, out of all the characters that you could play, who would you want to play? And I'm going to start with you, Wayne.
I wasn't paying attention to you. Did you repeat that? It took me off guard. I'm last. Just bullet point.
He was drinking his vodka, water.
Yes, right? Yeah.
Outside of,
Something about roles, playing, what?
yeah, outside of the characters that you have played,
Yes.
who would you want to have played?
Within the context of Yu-Gi-Oh? Or anything?
Batman.
If you're all familiar enough with Yu-Gi-Oh characters, yes, that would be.
Well, then we'll skip that.
But if not,
Um,
I won't fire you.
Dan actually did some stuff on the motion comics for Astonishing X-Men and Iron Man. I'd like to do a lot more straight up superheroes. I really want to play like Daredevil or Spider-Man. Even would be cool.
I would have loved to play mine, but I'm not right. I would say I would have loved to play Yugi because he's famous.
The little Yugi or yummy Yugi?
Either would work. Either. Yeah.
No. On the series, I'm not really sure, but I'd like to be any Sesame Street character. That would really make my day. And any old British lady, thank you.
I would love to have played the opening narrator on the first episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! Because I auditioned for it and didn't book it. Vengeance. And apart from that, anything large and theatrical.
Arthur Hopkins didn't do a song and dance?
The Arthur Hopkins movie.
You weren't in the
Hopkins show.
movie? You weren't in the movie?
I was in the movie. I was the newscaster guy for 20 seconds.
But a memorable 20 seconds.
Yes.
Felt like a minute.
I left after that, so I don't know if the movie ended.
From the classics Yu-Gi-Oh series, I actually thought it would be really fun to be Kaiba, get to be the bad boy, but Eric did it so well. And outside of that context, like Wayne, I'm a big comic book fan, so Captain America is a favorite that I would like to take a stab at. And I also like Star Wars and stuff, so an animated version of Han Solo would be fun. Or Chewbacca.
I guess I maybe want to do what I haven't done. I've never been like the sidekick, like the...
Oh, it's all wine and roses.
The Joey, or
Sidekicks are great.
like what Bronk is in the current, in Zek's Soul, or...
I think you do like a good cabaret character, like some character that's
He
saying.
would just sing the whole time. Kids love that.
That really goes over here. Small kids love cabaret. I mean, Yami Yugi would have been great to play. That would have been a lot of fun. I mean, I was Raphael in the Turtles, but I loved doing that show. It was great fun, and all those parts were actually good. I think Leonardo being the leader would have been good. You know, Wayne played Michelangelo, the comic relief. That would have been a great part.
I prefer to think of myself as the philosopher of that.
Sorry. Of course. That. Yeah, and then I didn't think of it until they mentioned it, but Dan directed me in X-Men motion comic, which was an awesome experience.
Did you play my man in that?
I believe I did actually. Did I?
You played
Cyclops.
I played Cyclops.
Emma Frost.
Oh.
And I was Beast.
I think I wanted to be your man, but I wasn't.
The day is young.
So yeah, actually Captain America, I mean obviously all that stuff's sort of taking over future films, but I would love to do more of that work, especially because the writing was so great.
Yeah.
So that's what I would say. I'd love to do more of that.
Yeah, that was a Joss Whedon script, so. You know who Joss Whedon is, right? Okay.
He's good.
He's good. He's good with the words putting together stuff.
Okay, I'm going to open up for questions from the floor.
I want to know why Wayne never recognizes that he's darts.
Oh no, I know I was darts. I just I don't want to spend an hour and a half running down my various and nuanced Yu-Gi-Oh characters. But I know, yes, I was the king of Atlantis. And I know. Yeah.
It's shoddy.
I acknowledge it here and now.
Calco, so it's like,
Yeah, well, now I will say it. Here and now, all the cameras, I played darts, yes.
Yay!
That's a logo. Thank you, Brett. He's a bad guy. In one of them.
I was also a Gurma with the silver.
How annoying was it to work with 4 kids?
Well, let me tell you.
It was really annoying cashing all those checks.
Yeah.
Awful.
And they all
To
cleared.
hang out with
That
all
was
these
most annoying.
people, it's pretty fun.
That's actually the good thing about working there was
Pizza Fridays
being able to-
tomorrow.
Pizza Friday was
People
fun.
every day.
Bagel Wednesday was great, but also
Bagel Friday, I saw a bagel there yesterday.
Bagel Friday, Pizza Wednesday. Got to mix up.
I think it's actually safe to say that regardless of what perception may be on the outside, working for the company wasn't bad.
Yeah.
I mean, that's working for.
I mean, like,
we had fun.
They're very loyal to us.
They were very loyal to us.
They put us on television!
Did you say it up front, like when you get there was a time when it was sort of a rep company, we all did, we were getting like all the shows. It was really good
I mean, like any place you work for, there was
was like
stuff that
$10
wasn't
hour.
great, but I think more for maybe the full-time employees. I mean, the actors were sort of freelance, so we would just come and work on the shows.
Do the fun stuff.
Yeah, and that was great. And it was also an opportunity, because as an actor, a lot of times you don't have a steady job or like a community you can sort of latch into. So I'll just speak for myself, it was a community of people and actors
A family.
and creative people. And I just met a lot of great people, and maybe to their detriment, they sort of used us over and over. So once you got in, it was like guaranteed. I mean, we worked there and still are working there for 10, 12 years. So
I think the answer he was looking for was very.
Yeah. They used to have great. They also used to have great parties back in the day.
Yeah,
That's true.
There was one time I remember some of
No, no, don't.
That's the evening
sorry.
time, the evening.
Oh, okay, that's easy. Okay.
Well, and Yumi just mentioned too, and because a lot of times the, you know, 4Kids got grief because they edited the shows, and Dan, you can speak more. Talk about exactly why they have to do what they have to do in terms of the.
Well, there
there
are standards of broadcast standards that they had to adhere to. So things, it wasn't necessarily their creative decision to be forced to take blood out of a scene or to make something less edgy or less violent.
Give somebody a lollipop.
Give somebody a lollipop, change their costume, right, as opposed to a cigarette or something. So, and then of course there's other stuff where since they can't follow through with a storyline in a certain way because it may be perceived to be objectionable to kids in America, then they have to change the content or the idea behind some things. And so it really, I don't think, was so much of them being trying to ruin the material. They were trying to bring material into the public in a way that they could broadcast it. So while people may have some grievances with what they did, they really were trying to get the material out there as best they could. So. Now, I've also done a lot of anime, as we all have, where it goes direct to DVD. So you don't have those restrictions. And I think it can be a common misperception among the fan base because they see certain anime that is very true to its original source, and then other anime that is changed. And I can understand, well, why would they do that? Well, that's why, it's broadcasting standards. So it's the broadcasting
All right.
standards we're going to take down.
You got that? So back off.
I want to throw something into that, if that's okay.
Say again.
Well, I was going to say, I don't think that Yu-Gi-Oh would have even been as huge of a hit if it wasn't aimed towards the younger audience like it was.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah, you're
I
right.
think that if it was aimed to be, you know, have content kept in and it was just for teenagers, then it wouldn't have boomed as much as it did.
It's
It
an
probably
excellent-
wouldn't
I
have been
agree.
still alive
Yeah,
here
excellent.
in America today.
Bless you.
Yes, Dan Green.
Yeah.
I would like to challenge you for the title of King of Games.
You will so win. I wouldn't even be challenged.
You do it for you. Because you'd be like sitting behind me and just like voice everything I do.
I am not a good duelist. But the characters I portray.
King of Geeks, however, reminds me of
I'm pretty good with geeks. I'm pretty good.
There's that.
This one's for Dan Green.
Yeah.
Out of all the duels that Yugi's ever had, or Yami, either one, which one was your personal favorite?
I get asked that question a lot, and I don't remember any of them. No, I'm kidding. It was always fun to fight Kaiba and Pegasus as well. There was, I think, that first season had a really nice arc to it, and that was very satisfying. But I think, and this is going to sound completely narcissistic, but that's me. When the series concluded and it was Yugi versus Yami, I thought that was story-wise, that was a very interesting duel. But the fun thing about the various duels, you can fall into the trap of thinking like, oh, this is just another version of me yelling out a card, you know, whatever. So you do try to keep in mind what is specifically happening story-wise, what's the emotional content, what's the motivation of the character. So when you know, dueling Joey, you know, that was challenging too. When you were all possessed.
Yes, I was all possessed.
All possessed. That was the official term.
I think they did write that. They were like,
you're all possessed.
They would write my lines like Joey in the accent, and they write Joey with the accent, but all possessed.
All possessed, yeah.
I gotta talk like this, but be kind of a zombie about it. You know.
He's so good.
Erica Stroder, what is your favorite monster that you've played?
Oh, my favorite monster?
Cloverfield.
Black Rose or Hardy's Lady? Oh, well, the Black Rose Dragon, for sure, yeah.
Good
Why'd
stuff.
you give her the answer?
No, for sure, that's definitely.
I'll go again. I want to know what you all really think of Little Karibo.
He's awesome.
We talked about him on the ride up, actually.
I met the guy. He's okay. I'm not a fan of what he does. But
He owes me money.
He eats all the chips. No, Karibo actually, I received a Karibo today, and I always thought
Is
it was
that code for something?
I'll tell you later. But I always thought it was funny in the series that, you know, he's this cute little furball, right? But he always seemed to be coming really happy, so, yeah. So don't knock Karibo. He's got uses.
Okay, first I want to say you guys are, oh, I'm not, okay. I'm going to hold the mic for you or not. Okay, first I want to say you guys have done a wonderful job on the show, and I really appreciate for all you have done. And then also to add to what Melinda said is, without 4Kids, I don't think maybe like 99% of us would have even known what Yu-Gi-Oh was. So
Right.
despite the edits, I really do appreciate that they brought it over in the first place.
Right.
But actually, my question is, now that actually the license has passed to Konami, is it possible that we'll see more of the like uncut dub or actually finishing GX or 5Ds? Because, you know, I would like that.
I'd like to know that
I would love
Jaden
to see where 5Ds was gonna go.
Yeah.
For sure.
Aporia. Aporia.
They made it like Jaden died.
Yeah, and
Sorry,
you
it's more
say.
of a wait and see.
Okay.
To be continued.
To be continued.
Okay.
Speaking about like the dub stuff, why did you guys never dub the original Yu-Gi-Oh? The one based with the Bandai cards?
The Toei animation.
These are decisions that we make. So we're just stupid actors. Well, some of us are stupid. Myself included.
And some of us are actors.
Ted's actually a hand puppet. He's not.
I'm not really. We would be interested in that, but
This is directed towards Mike. Could you do Dr. Eggman's voice?
Sure I can. There, I just did it.
This is another question from Mike. Arthur Hawkins, if he could duel anyone in the anime besides Solomon, who do you think he'd go for?
That's an excellent question. I think you should take on Yugi.
What? What did I do to you?
Oh, you know.
yeah. Oh,
First of all, I think he should take on his granddaughter, but my question is for Erica and Wayne. What was it like playing the two best characters ever created in Joey Wheeler and Akiza?
It was the best.
I had to.
Ladies
greatest
first.
character.
Do you want to address that?
I thought it was awesome. I had a lot of fun. And I wonder how many of you out there think that Akiza and Yusei were having a relationship.
if they finish it, you know, like, you know. Yeah, at the end, you know, don't spoil it. Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully they'll do that.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll finish the last group.
Wink, 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 wink.
You, me.
I feel like Akiza too is the first really strong
female.
character / duelist.
Right. You have every responsibility, Erica.
No, but Akiza took it seriously and didn't use her sexual wiles to get what she
They
wanted.
did take my cleavage out, 4Kids did take my cleavage out. I can thank them for that.
Is that true?
Yeah. I believe they toned it down quite a bit.
Bastards.
And I think the suspenders went away as well.
Oh,
really?
I think they
That's very, I can understand that. That's offensive. Oh,
all the artwork.
okay.
Oh, the
And I love playing Joey. Thank you. Can't follow that whole discussion of your costume.
Okay, this comes from Twitter, but they asked, was it at all difficult to voice your particular characters throughout the series, or what did you find most difficult?
This general question?
Yeah, general.
What is a Twitter? I'm as old as Mike.
Ladies and gentlemen.
No one is this old.
I remember in some of Bakura's duels, you know, it was just kind of technically, as an actor, you know, when there'd be a lot of screaming, I'm sure that most of the actors would agree
on
that it can get tough after a while. And literally, there were points where I'd be in the booth and I'd feel lightheaded. And usually the director could tell, do you need a break? Yes. And so that's the toughest thing I think for me was to voice some of the duels that went on. And you know, it's kind of taxing.
I think it's also it's the actor's responsibility, but it's also the director's to keep a consistency in the voice. Because it's amazing sometimes if you go back and listen to the beginning of a series,
It's a lot different.
it can really change if you don't sort of stay on top of it.
Sometimes the director takes over and sort of changes the character.
Yeah, that's true too.
Like when Darren took over and Akiza became much more mature and lower, and she was kind of aging too, but I think his vision, your vision of her was a much stronger character than the original vision.
I think I came into just when she was about to start her dual training, which kind